Hello and welcome to Shell Point Today for Monday, September 28th. I'm Adam Brown and here's what's happening on today's show. Jeff Cory and Beth Crenshaw from the Legacy Foundation don pirate costumes to talk about undiscovered treasures. Heather Battey visits with one of our newest fitness coordinators, Hanna Hosterman, to talk about a balance and mobility program for beginners. And Katelyn Van Scoy visits with Ruth Deuber to talk about the new Spot Play coming soon. But first, we want to remind you that this is Active Aging Week. Initiated by the International Council on Active Aging, this week-long campaign calls attention to and embraces the positive aspects of aging today. It showcases the capabilities of older adults as fully participating members of society and spotlights role models who lead the way. Tomorrow in the Social Center at 1:15, there will be a Life Quest event that celebrates living fully in all dimensions of life. You'll enjoy wellness activities and exercises in a safe, supportive environment during this fun, interactive fitness class led by certified fitness professionals. A refreshing smoothie will also be served. That's tomorrow at 1:15. Calling all World War II veterans. Florida Weekly is honoring local World War II veterans in a special Veterans Day issue. Shell Point would like to recognize its resident World War II veterans by submitting names, branch, rank, and station during the war. If you are willing to participate, please contact Sarah Nadal at 454-2071 by October 5th. Jeff Cory and Beth Crenshaw are hunting for unclaimed treasure. They are ready to help you find money. In fact, they have commandeered a sailing vessel complete with pirates, swords and daggers, cannons, gunpowder, whatever it takes to bring back a treasure chest of wealth for you. Okay, so maybe I'm getting a little carried away here. I should probably turn things over to Jeff and Beth to talk about Treasure Hunt Month before they make me walk the plank.
Ahoy, mateys! I'm Beth Crenshaw from the Legacy Foundation, and I am here with Jeff Cory to talk about Treasure Hunt Month. Jeff, do you want to tell us what Treasure Hunt Month is?
Sure, Beth. We're dressed up like pirates today to promote Treasure Hunt Month at Shell Point. Many of our residents know that there's unclaimed funds out there that are held by states and government for folks, and so we're just trying to find all that we can for our residents, knowing that everybody likes to find a little money.
That's right. It's estimated that over 90% of Americans have some sort of unclaimed funds being held at any time. Isn't that correct?
That's right. The statistics say that there's about $35 billion being held by states on behalf of people they can't find, unclaimed funds. And so we're trying to find a little bit of that for our Shell Point residents this month.
That's excellent. So why do states collect this money?
Oftentimes there's rebate checks, or there may be something that a tax refund, bank account may be held for someone that they can't find the rightful owner. And so the states hold that money. Sometimes, like here in the state of Florida, they use the funds to support the school systems until they can find the proper owner for those funds.
Okay, well, how do people locate these unclaimed funds?
Well, a form was sent to Shell Point residents so they could fill out, or they can come by our office and just fill out a quick form. We'll go online. There's a number of websites out there, both federal and state websites, so we need to know if our residents lived in another state before coming to Shell Point, and then we can do a little research and find some money for them.
Wonderful. And then where do all the unclaimed funds come from?
Well, as I mentioned, they'll come from, there may be a tax refund, maybe something that you purchased at a store, or maybe even get a rebate. In fact, I found a few dollars for my mom the other day. So anytime you can find some money for your mom, that's always a good thing. Most of the unclaimed funds, Beth, could be $10, $100, but we recently found over $70,000 for a resident.
Wonderful. How does someone prove that the funds actually belong to them?
Well, once we do our research, we'll have a claims form for the state that we print out, and they usually require a driver's license. In fact, we found some money for a resident the other day. Their spouse had passed away about 5 years ago, so we may need a death certificate or some more information, but we can help residents with all of that.
Great. And so then another question was, what if the original owner is deceased?
That's right. If the original owner is deceased, then we're happy to do that research as well. Those funds will stay unclaimed for years, basically in perpetuity. So it may have been years ago that someone passed away, maybe even be a family member, a mom or dad from years ago. So we'll basically be able to find that for them.
Super. What should our residents do to participate in the treasure hunt here at Shell Point?
Well, complete the form that we mailed to them, or if they misplace that, stop by the office, and again, it just takes a couple of minutes, and we'd be happy to help them.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Jeff, and we look forward to receiving treasure hunt information form at the Legacy Foundation. If you have any questions, please call Maria at 466-8484.
If you require assistance with walking, such as with the use of a cane, walker, or walking sticks, then there's a balance and mobility class just for you to help you build strength and get around better every day. This class can help you use your assistive device less or walk with it more carefully and independently. Fitness coordinator Hanna Hosterman talks with Heather Battey of Resort Services about this beginner level class starting next week.
Hi, I'm Heather Battey from Resort Services, and today I'm here with one of our certified personal trainers and fitness coordinators, Hanna Hosterman. She's been with Shell Point now for about 3 months, and she's exciting 2 new programs that we've revamped. The first one that we're going to be talking about today is Balance and Mobility for Beginners. Hi, Hanna.
Hello.
So can you tell me why we decided to change the name from Balance and Mobility Level 1 to Beginner?
Sure. I felt like the program was kind of combined with different levels of balance. So I kind of just wanted to put beginners of balance and begin them with balance level 1, and maybe put the more advanced people that maybe aren't using walkers, that get around okay, but they're just kind of concerned with their mobility, to the advanced, which would be balance level 2 advanced.
Okay, so for your balance and mobility, this will be the beginners class that will start on October 5th.
Correct.
That's Mondays and Wednesdays at 1:45. Mm-hmm. So with this class in particular, you are now saying that you could have this class be more for those with an assistant device as far as walking? Okay.
Yeah, so we'll start the class with, I like to always start with a little bit of weights and work on posture. So we'll work on some shoulder and back exercises, and then I get the group to stand up, and we do a little bit of floor work with their walking devices, and we just focus on posture and proper foot alignment and walking alignment and their gait in general.
Perfect. Because once you add one of those walking assistance devices, your walk and your gait changes.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And so you will work with the residents on kind of remedying that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I understand you have quite a bit of experience working with balance and mobility in the senior population.
Yeah, I do. I worked for about 1.5 years at a rehab center up north, and the population I worked with was seniors, and I've kind of been all over the board with it, but a lot of it was more pre and post rehab. So I had balance issues, pre and post knee replacement, hip replacement. So I feel confident in working with them as far as posture and balance goes, and seeing their gait and noticing what needs work.
Right. Will you be working on, say, getting up and down, like out of a chair, or
yeah,
those
the
kind of
proper
things?
way to get up and out of a chair. A lot of people tend to lean forward, putting a lot of pressure on their back. So maybe if there's armrest, learning how to use the armrest and really strengthening those leg and glute muscles so they can stand straight up versus bending over to stand up.
Right. Now, because we'll be buying, basically, it's a cost of $120 for these 12 weeks. Will it be a progressive class? Will you keep on adding and advancing as they go through the class?
Yeah, I like to advance usually around every 2 weeks. So whether that's weight, whether that's more steps added to the class, like more walking time or more standing time, or just more reps added to each exercise, I like to see a progression every 2 weeks.
Great. Well, it definitely sounds like a class for a lot of our population. So if you're interested in this balance and mobility beginner class, again, it starts on October 5th, and that's going to be Mondays and Wednesdays at 1:45 at the Island Health Club. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Shell Point's own theater, or SPOT, is holding auditions for the play Over the River and Through the Woods. If you have an interest in play reading, then this is your opportunity to audition this coming Thursday. Katelyn Van Scoy visits with Ruth Deuber now to find out more about this production and how you can get involved.
Hi, I'm Katelyn Van Scoy, and I'm here with resident Ruth Deuber, and we're here to talk about Shell Point's own theater, also known as Spot. Now, Ruth, tell us what's coming up soon.
Oh, I'm just really excited about this play. It's Over the River and Through the Woods by Joe DiPietro. And it's been done in downtown Fort Myers. And I think the first performance was in, 1998 or something like that.
Okay.
So it's not an old play, but it is a precious one.
It's new to Shell Point.
It is,
Okay.
yes. Unless they went downtown to see it at one of the groups down there. It's really about family, and it's a very precious Italian family. And they really are special people. And I was just struck by the family. It's about two sets of grandparents, and how every Sunday, in fact, the daughter says, every Sunday for 29 years I've been coming for Sunday dinner. And it takes place, it's the two families, it takes place in New Jersey.
Okay.
And one of the challenges is going to be to do a little bit of an Italian accent, but not so much that it sounds stupid, which can happen. Which can happen.
Fine line between the two.
Fine line. And there's a line in here said by one of the grandparents. It says, "My grandparents firmly believed in the 3 F's of life: family, faith, and food."
Of course.
So that's where the food comes in.
Okay.
And my friend June Lockhart, who's always done my posters and does work in 3D and so forth, got so excited about the play, and because it was about food, she made this to go on the larger
precious.
Poster.
That's wonderful. Let me
And,
see
that gives you the idea. There's a little sandwich there.
There you
and that
go.
line comes in so often. You're leaving. Take a sandwich. You need a sandwich. So.
Of course. And so this is not only an informational segment, but this is a call-em-all to those who might like to participate
Absolutely,
in this.
yeah.
And you're not looking for actors, you're looking for play readers.
Play readers.
Because this is
everybody can read. And, you'll have a script and you'll be able to read it. But you don't have to belong to play readers if you're interested. The auditions are open to anyone that's interested.
Okay, so you don't have to be a member of Spot's theater.
No, actually, it's, that's the name of the group. And then we do have play readers. But this is kind of separate.
Okay.
But it'll be our 21st show, so I've been doing this for a
That's
good
wonderful.
many years, and I said to you,
And
just,
you do a great job, by the way.
well, thank you. I think it might be about time. These are a lot of work, and it might be time to go back to the successful thing that you arranged, and that was Play Readers Night at the Cafe. And have maybe more people participate. It's also not as much work as putting on a full-blown play.
Right,
So we might be doing that. I think we will in the spring, if you're willing. So.
Okay, I will. And auditions
No.
for this start October 1st.
Yes.
And they're at 4
Well,
o'clock.
actually, the auditions are October 1st. Then we'll start rehearsals the next week. We will be rehearsing on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
At
And
4
where-
o'clock.
4 o'clock
Most of the
in-
rehearsals are going to be in the Manatee Room, but
Okay.
the auditions is in the social
Center. Okay.
But I've made it late enough in the day that you can still get to some of your other favorite things you like to do.
Yeah.
And
Because
but you're
Shell
still
Point
home for
residents
dinner.
are very busy around here.
I know. Well, that's why I set up the rooms, a long time ago.
Yeah.
But one of the gentlemen in the cast says, he says that there is an advice that his father gave him when he got off the boat, and it says, "Tango famiglia." And he said, you just said that in English, it would be, "I support my family." But in Italian, it means much, much more. I am a man. I am doing well for my woman and my children. I have a reason to be alive.
Wow.
So this is just so much family tradition. We're not making fun of the Italians. We're celebrating them because they're such great people. So
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. And so the production is actually in November,
November 12th, up
November
in the
12th.
church auditorium.
and it will be a great time. I'm excited
think
about
so.
it.
Oh,
I really
good.
am.
Yeah.
If you're interested in this production, you can show up at the Auditions on October 1st at 4 o'clock in the Social Center for the production that's taking place in the Village Church on November 12th. If you have any questions, please call Ruth Deuber. And for all other information, you can check your Shell Point Life Happening segment. Thanks so much and have a great day.
Bye-bye.
And now it's time to look at all of today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections. Right after this, listening to the Words preview from David Howenstein.
On this week's Listening to the Words journey, you'll hear about the time a Southwest Florida resident grabbed the opportunity to help an immigrant and her young daughter. You'll hear the story of a resident of the Springs, members of whose family escaped Cuba before and soon after the Castro Revolution. You'll hear a Shell Point resident read one of her mother's favorite stories. You'll have a glimpse at an Alaska town where most of the residents live in the same building. Also, sweat over two pre-air conditioning stories, one set in New York City, the other in Southwest Florida. And a New York City snippet by yours truly. This week's 30-minute program airs almost every hour all this week on Shell Point Channel 12. Those without access to Channel 12 can listen to any of the programs online at www.shellpoint.net/listening. This is your reader host, David Howenstein, thanking you for listening to the Words.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley, and I'm here with Katelyn Van Scoy, and we're going to tell you about the activities that we offer for you here today at Shell Point. We're going to begin today at 8 o'clock with the men's round robin doubles tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. And then at 8:30, we have a field trip going out. Feel the Love, a trip to the Norman Love Chocolate Salon. The court pickups begin on the island at 8:30, 8:40 for Woodlands, and 8:50 for Eagles Preserve and the Estuary. Then we'll move to 8:45 for virtual bowling. That's going on in the Activities Center on the island. 9:15, we have billiards, also in the Resident Activities Center. We have the Lollygaggers paddlers going out from the kayak storage facility at 9:15. And then our last 9:15 activity today is pottery. That's held down in the pottery studio in the tunnel. Now at 10 o'clock, we have the men's round robin doubles tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. The Suzy Q will also be leaving at 10 o'clock for Matanzas on the Bay. At 10:30, the Disciple Men's Bible Study Group will be in the game room of the Woodlands. And at 10:45, it's time for table tennis. There's a playing clinic in the Tarpon Room this morning. We have a Health Connections class at 11:30, Agility and Flexibility. That's in the Health Club, but it's currently full. That's the morning lineup. Here's Katelyn to tell you about the afternoon.
Thank you, Bev. We start our afternoon off with Mahjong at 12 o'clock. That'll be in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. Then we move to 1:15 for Samba, the card game. That'll be at the Resident Activity Center. Another 1:15 activity is the Tone Chimes. They'll be in the Osprey Room on the island. And then we have a Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility Training Level 1 at 1:45. That'll be in the Health Club, and that one's currently full. The BDIB Club will be in the Oak Room at the Woodlands at 2 o'clock. And then we move to 3 o'clock for a Health Connections class, Pilates Stretch. That's in the Health Club on the island. At 3:15, we have the Shell Point Singers Rehearsal in the choir room at the Village Church on the island. And at 5 o'clock, we have the singles table available at the Crystal Dining Room. And then we move to 6:30 for Duplicate Bridge in the game room of the Woodlands. We round out our Monday with movie night. The movie is High Noon. It's a 1952 film. That's at 6:45 in the Social Center. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Monday, the 28th of September. At 10 o'clock, we have Sea Turtles in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands for those who have signed up. At 10:15, we have an Apple iPad class, What Are the Basics?, continuing in the Manatee Room on the island. And at 10:30, Anatomy of Words continues in the Oak Room of the Woodlands, but it's a new look at the English language every week, and you are welcome. At 1:15, we have a computer college class, Computer Basics, on Mac laptops. This continues in the Technology Teaching Center on the island. I'd like to tell you about a new class coming up tomorrow, and it is printing from your Apple iPad tablet. This is with Penny Modridge of Nautilus.
Menus for Monday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is chicken marsala served with pasta and broccolini. The dinner special is Old Home Cooking Night for $11.95, and the soup of the day is beef noodle. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a mushroom Swiss burger with french fries for $7.75. The dinner special is mango shrimp with island rice and fresh fruit for $8.75. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hello everyone, this is Village Church Connections, and I'm Janice Quinlan, your international worker in residence, working with the Village Church this year. Today I've come to talk with you about honor. The Bible has a lot to say about honor. Honor and respect are actually quite different. Respect is something someone earns, while honor is a gift you give freely. Find ways to honor people, not just because they deserve it, but because it's the right thing to do. The Bible says we ought to show honor to those who are in authority over us. Romans 13, 1 through 7 explains that God in His sovereignty has placed people in positions of leadership. I admit, most of my adult years have been spent living in Asia. Sometimes I feel like a stranger in my own birth country. I have lived in a kingdom with a king, in a culture that limits the boundaries of free speech. Whenever I come back to the United States, I am always a bit taken back by the comments people voice about our president. I may not necessarily agree with many of his policies or be a personal fan of his leadership, but regardless of my personal views, I am a citizen of the United States. I am not honoring the man or the office when I offer belittling comments about the president in social settings. We are supposed to show honor not only to powerful people, but to all those who are in authority over us. Who might those people in your life be? The Bible also tells us to honor our pastors and church leaders. In 1 Timothy 5, verse 17, it states, "The elders who direct the affairs of the church well are worthy of double honor, especially those whose work is preaching and teaching." So we are also instructed to show honor to those who lead us spiritually. Is it possible to grow in honor when we live in a dishonoring culture? The answer to this question is found in Romans chapter 12, verse 10. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. I ask myself, how can I outdo others in showing honor, regardless of whether the person deserves it or not? Quite honestly, many don't deserve it. Give it freely anyway. Always keeping before us what Christ has freely given to us, especially since we didn't deserve it either. There are so many people who regularly serve us in our homes, at church, in the community. Show them honor by being overly courteous, offering words of encouragement, and smiling freely. Esteem them highly and tell them how much you value them. Then demonstrate it by actions that reinforce the kind words that we speak. Perhaps the root cause of dishonoring each other is that as a culture, we have dishonored God. In our culture, God is treated as common or ordinary. He is regularly referred to as the man upstairs, a higher power, or the big guy. He is so much more than that. He is the Alpha and Omega, the sustainer and creator of the universe, including us, his created beings. Because of what he did for us on the cross, we honor him with our lives and with our speech. We are admonished to value others and show them honor, opening the door for them to see that they are valuable enough for Jesus to give his life for. Is honor the forgotten virtue? May it not be so among us. On behalf of the Village Church, have a wonderful day.
Well, that's about it for today's program. Be sure to join us again tomorrow when Les Davidson talks about the canyons and mountains of America that he has photographed. Healthcare Billing Manager Joni Reagan talks to us about Medicare and insurance options, and Terry Kolath visits with Sherry Brown of Long-Term Care to discuss the Pavilion Auxiliary fundraiser. Until then, this has been Shell Point Today for Monday, September 28th. I'm Adam Brown, and from all of us here at SPTV, we hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.